change that you want to see in your community. Join our network.
Live call-in talk show. Dial 1-877-932-9766 and join the conversation here on TalkTainmentRadio.com.
TalkTainmentRadio.com. We go where you go. Hey, TalkTainmentRadio.com. Download it to your app. Let's do this with your cell or tablet. So you go to TalkTainmentRadio.com to your cell or tablet. Now that's radio, the way it should be heard. Now this is Libby, and you're listening to This Is Libby. And I wanted to share with you some stuff that's on your mind, because these are conversations that came up in my whole week, one whole week, things that were on your mind. I would like for you to call me 1-877-932-9766 and talk to you some Libby about those things that are on your mind, because now they're on my mind. I wanted to share with you that the monk that spoke early on, his name is Dhanapani. He was talking about concentration and how to concentrate, just in case you're just coming on with me. And he was saying that we're not taught how to concentrate. That makes a world of difference in things manifesting for you. And we're all about getting results. Getting results sounds really good. So what happens is, short story here, is that he says you must practice concentration every day. Do that one thing at a time. I'll use shaving. When I'm shaving, I don't think about anything else except shaving. I want to make sure I have a clean, no nicks, no stubble, no nothing. So I focus only on shaving. If the phone rings, I might glance over and make sure that it's something that doesn't need to be addressed right away. Otherwise, I wait for a voicemail. I continue shaving. I'm good at it. This is what he was saying. When you do something over and over and over again, you become good at it. We practice distractions because that's what we do, and we're good at being distracted. So if you're fixing a meal and you're focusing on a hot wok with some sesame oil and your vegetables and that, how often has it been if you are sauteing Brussels sprouts, right? If you don't watch, they will burn. I mean, like now, because woks are very, very hot. You want to stay focused on the result of your efforts in front of your stove. You want to serve a delicious, flavorful, colorful meal. When you get control of your mind, and that's one of the things that he spoke about, he says you can control your mind by concentrating on one thing at a time. Multitasking is not a natural function of the mind. It is not. We think it's a big deal. Oh, I'm a strong black woman. I can handle this and I can handle that. But at the end of the day, you're wore out and you may or may not finish what you started and getting that good result. No. One thing at a time. Just do it every day. When you catch yourself drifting, as he said, pull yourself back in and say, not doing that. I'm going to stay focused on this right here. Whether it's vacuuming, or if you're talking and engaged with somebody, make them your most and only thing that you have on your mind. This results in good conversation with understanding and overstanding. This person feels like they are the most important person in the world. They really enjoy talking with you because you give them your absolute undivided attention. When you are bathing your feet, bathe your feet. If the phone rings, you don't want to pick it up. You might drop it in the water. Now you got a $300, $400, $500 issue you got to solve you didn't have before you started. with your water bath for your feet. I'm telling you these things because you get good results when you practice controlling your mind, thoughts in your mind, and concentrating on one thing at a time. Someone asked me, well, how is this different from meditation and prayer? All right. When you are meditating, even the monk said so. He said most people think, you got to sit down and go, oh, Now, you don't have to do that. Most people can't keep their mind on doing that. So when you are meditating, I heard the most wonderful thing. When you pray, it's you talking to God, and when you're meditating, it's God talking to you, because the image that you give is your word doesn't come back void. So the image you give is the image you get, only it's in completion. If you're going to practice prayer, I know I was taught as a child, now I lay me down to sleep, right? Well, as you get older and wiser and you have more experiences, when you pray, you usually have an issue that you want resolved, right? No problem. No problem. Express your issue to whomever it is you talk with. I got a concern. It's a money concern. I need this resolved. I have this circumstance and that circumstance. But your prayer is concentration being used to discuss your issue with your divine presence. I'm giving room for everybody to be able to label that however you want. When you do this, you are releasing and expressing the problem or issue that you have, and you're focused, laser focused on that issue, correct? Don't dwell in that very long. Part of prayer is you might spend some time discussing it, which is healthy. If you've got an ache somewhere, you never had a lump there before, that's an issue. Oh, I got a lump here, man. I got to have some, I need you. Well, you said it. Now, the action afterwards makes a lot of sense. You got that little bump on you, a little mold that don't look right. You got a cough you can't explain. You got a sore belly. You ate something and your belly's tore up. You car accident. What? Chronic or not. Even if you just stick your finger with a pin. Oh God, most people, they do that or they do the other thing. However, your attention is still and your concentration is on that pinprick. It's on that belly. It's on that lump. It's on that shortage of money. It's on that aggravation. And then you just stop and say, okay, look, I'm giving this to you. You said cast your cares on me, so I'm giving it to you. Now I'm going to do a little action. I'll go to the physician, have them check it. I expect they're going to tell me everything is going to be all right. I expect that they're going to say, well, this is here, however, it's resolvable. Whatever it is you're concentrating on, your outcome, hear yourself, see yourself, hear the physicians, hear the metaphysicians, hear the nutritionalists, the surgeons, the plumber, the car mechanic, hear, feel, taste, smell, and sense the outcome that you are expressing yourself to have. When you do this, now your action is done. You went and got a mechanic for that car because there's a sound in there that's not normal. You went to the physician and they did an x-ray and or a mammogram, or they did whatever they do so that they can get some information. In the meantime, the next time you go pray, my suggestion is gratitude. Absolute gratitude. You said your prayer. My mother says, now don't go back aggravating God about that prayer. You said it, leave it alone. Okay? Then the action follows. If I've prayed for a mate, okay? then I start doing things that facilitate the presence of my mate. So I might do something kind of funny, but then there's lots of expressions even in the scriptures where Jesus was telling people to do some crazy stuff, like go take a bath like 5 times. Make room for that person. Scoot something over in the closet. Give a little room for them to hang their coat. If you need to do it, put an extra plate on the table. Just kind of get used to the idea that you're going to have conversation with this person. If there is a issue with your money, make room for the money to come. Don't just focus on cash. You might get a favor from someone, and favors are not always fair. Some people get them, some don't, because their concentration is laser for a result, a desired state of being. So, like I said, the definition for desire is an accurate picture of what I'm to become. So it's success mode in some form. Expect to get a clean bill of health. There's a process. If you've got a lump or if your digestive system is upset, you might have to make some changes in your lifestyle. And I think that when Donna Penny was talking, he said you can't just expect to have fruit juice in the morning and then eat a pizza at night and expect to lose weight. You might have to alter something that you're doing. So alter something that you're doing. One of my children, my grown children, told me they wanted a car. They needed a car because they would start a new job. And I said, well, what would you be doing if you had your new car? And they didn't answer right away. And I said, you'd have money for gas, right? Well, yeah. I said, here's some money for gas for your new car. What else would you be doing? Wouldn't you have a parking spot where you work? Yes. I said, so go pick one out and picture it. And not only that, but have somebody take you to the job site and decide where your car needs to be parked every time. He told me that over the weekend, and before the week, maybe about Wednesday, he calls me up. Auntie, I got my car. I said, well, bring it on over here, because the thing that I prayed about for you was I get to put my butt prints in your car. And we did that and had a wonderful time, but he never forgot that thing. So when it comes to prayer meditation, they're very similar, but there's action with each one of those. Your desired state comes because you have concentrated on that. Remember I talked to you about my mama's pound cake? From the time she decided to have a pound cake until the time that thing came out, everything was a pound cake. The flour, the butter, the eggs, the milk, the baking powder, everything was over here, but it was a pound cake. The process was getting it into the oven. That batter had to be worked and get it in the oven where unseen forces that you cannot put your hands on worked for you, worked for my mom. This is the same thing with prayer. When you say your prayers and you take your hands off of it, you go act like it's already done. And what do you do when a cake is in the oven? You get the dishes, the serving dishes, you make some coffee, and you call me up and tell me that thing will be done in an hour and a half so I can be there on time to get me a piece of that pound cake, that answered prayer. I really am pleased that I ran into the information because, a lot of times I talk about health care issues. This is a health care issue. If you get a new car, isn't there a manual? If you get a new mixer, isn't there a manual? You get a new telephone, isn't there a manual? Always there's some form of instructions. But when it comes to concentration, we don't have much information. It's usually word of mouth. I'm sure there are books out there, okay? I'm going to say that. I'm sure there's books out there. And your assignment, go find those books and find out what the information is on concentration. Something, this just occurred to me, but it's been at least 2 or 3 years now. There was a toy that was put out for our children where they focused on something and levitated it. I was happy, but I was not happy. Now, how do you do that, Libby? How can you be happy and not happy? It's because that's powerful. And there was no joke about it. My concern was who's paying attention to whose children have the capacity to move and or levitate the object that was a part of that toy. Because the whole concept of the toy was concentration. Kind of give me the oolies. I hope that I have answered that for you. There are other things that I could share with you about this. I want you to know that you can call me 1-877-932-9766. You can also be aware that talktainmentradio.com, because we go where you go. You can download the talktainmentradio.com app to your cell or tablet, and that's radio the way it should be heard. In my conversation with people through the week, some of these other things came up, and I wanted to be sure that I got an opportunity to share them with you. Then you can call me and share them with me if you choose. This is the fall, and with fall, my favorite time of year. I love fall more than I love Christmas. I love the way it feels. I love the smells, the baked goods, I love it all. The colors are just for me. But I'm concerned about folks who have allergies. I'm concerned about folks with bug bites, stings, and even the fall leaves. My understanding by the news people is that our summer has been so hot that the trees went from green to the leaves falling on the ground. There are places where you'll see the beautiful color. However, I know in my own backyard I have a beautiful walnut tree. She's probably about 90-some years old, and it went from green, and then all the leaves just fell on the ground. She's almost bare, but she's got lots and lots of walnuts. The thing I want to say to you is that because of this heat that we've had, the plants are responding appropriately, and they are letting go of their leaves. And in the fall, this is our time, my time in particular, where I just start letting things go. Donations for clothes and shoes and that kind of stuff. I let that go. I share it with someone else, and it gives me an opportunity to replace them with something new. If you've, I have a very wise person who told me, they said, if you have not worn an outfit in the last 2 years, if you've got a bag of clothes in the basement and you haven't opened that up for at least 2 years, get rid of it. Just do it. You're done. It's over, because there's a mindset that goes with holding on to things. The natural order of things is to let stuff go. Animals during the heat season shed their coats. Right now, the woolly caterpillars are really fat, and according to the almanac, when they're like that, winter is going to be hard. Someone told me that as well. However, before getting into winter concepts and winter concerns, let's just do the fall. So be sure that those of you who are have concerns about bee stings and that kind of thing, make sure you got your EpiPens or whatever you use. Keep those close by with your medicine cabinet contents. Make sure you got plenty of alcohol, peroxide, call it betadine and iodine and those kinds of things to help out. Those of you who have allergies, that's one thing. Those of you who are asthmatics, the pollen is still flowing, the dry leaves are throwing off stuff. You need to protect yourself from that, all right? When it comes to, we had this one person said to me, folks are still going missing. How you feeling about that, Libby? And I said, well, this is age old. It's been an age old, ancient process. We're paying attention to it because we have enough media and technology to expose it. Excuse me. the concern that I have is that this is October, and there's going to be a lot of celebrations for Halloween. I used to laugh at this, but now I'm a little more concerned because this is the time of year when animals disappear, children disappear, people disappear, and it's around this time. I think October is listed as the second most celebrated holiday of the year. Now you got Mother's Day, Father's Day, you got Easter and Halloween. Folks go all out for Halloween. I don't have a problem with it. I mean, if that's what you do what you do. But if you're out there with your children, don't you let them babies go out there by themselves, knocking on doors of strangers for a few pieces of candy. Stay with your children. Make sure that you check the candy. We'll do this again as the holiday comes closer. Check the candy. Make sure there are who would want to do this? No needles and razor blades and any other kind of stuff that's not right with it. If it don't look right, throw it out. It's just not worth letting someone get sick over it or injured really bad. Be aware that when it comes to children going missing and all of that, listen, there's all kinds of ways to display this. Don't scroll down over it. Somebody's baby's missing. You might have seen them and didn't even realize it. Pay attention. Now, I'm going to laugh, but I'm going to tell you guys, somebody actually put it on social media that the stink bugs are out, and they are putting themselves on our screens, slipping into the house because it's going to get cold. And, one day it's hot, and then the next day it's just going to get cold. Well, they're trying to get in, and somebody said, how do you get rid of those things? Because when you smash them, they do smell bad. Well, there was one article that listed this. I was real happy about it. It's the truth. You can use an aluminum pan, okay, and put some water in there with a little bit of dish soap, and then have a light near there where they can be attracted to because they are very attracted to the light, and they'll fly right in that container, and they can't get out because the soap sticks to their bodies and makes it impossible for them to breathe. I'm just saying. I've had a couple of them on my screen. Nothing in the house, thank you so much. However, there was a problem for someone. Now, another person mentioned, I got all this fresh fruits and vegetables in my home, and I've got gnats. And I said, okay. Well, there's those sticky things. You can get those, hang them up, and then they catch on to the sticky things. But they love apple cider vinegar, little bit of honey or molasses, and a small container. Like, I don't know if I'll do it with my hands here. So if you got a little container about like that, and I'm saying like that, so use your forefinger and your thumb together, and just put that apple cider vinegar in there and a little bit of sweetener. The gnats they have to go. They can't stand not being close to that apple cider vinegar, and they get caught in it, and then they can't get out. Sounds terrible, doesn't it? But that's the way it is. Somebody mentioned to me that they were concerned about detoxing. They use the seasons to detox. And Libby, what's a good detox? And the one that I was told about was called the Master Cleanse. That's one of many detoxes. However your constitution is, then you use what works for you. So that could just, really cayenne pepper and some lemon and some honey, a little bit of apple cider vinegar, mix it up, take a shot, you're good. A couple times a day if you need it, and that works, and it will help make that constitution balanced. But if you want something, a ritual thing you want to do, okay, this one is called the Master Cleanse. It's like a lemonade. It says mix up a gallon of water, get some cayenne pepper and maple syrup, organic. The cayenne pepper is 1 teaspoon. The water is 1 gallon. The maple syrup is 12 tablespoons. Lemon juice would be like 12 tablespoons, or just squeeze a lemon real good, okay? And then you can mix it together and drink it, and usually you'll get a nice result. Be careful because you don't want to lose your potassium and your electrolytes. Make sure you get those back in your system. There was another one, olive oil, lemons, maple syrup, cayenne pepper. They all pretty much run the same way. And then make sure you're drinking lots of water. Fall is here, and I'm telling you, there's some detox recipes. But then you know what? Somebody else expressed a concern, and I said I would just do a little bit about it, and it was about the feet. Okay, you want to take care of your feet. I'm not sure that I'll have enough time to do all of them, but your feet represent your understanding. All right. I want you to know that TalkTainmentRadio.com, the world's greatest radio, is radio the way it should be heard.